Good afternoon. I am Satish Gupta, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Law, Greater Noida. Today I will discuss about the introduction of social theory. Introduction to social theory majorly focus upon the three approach to social theory. The first one is the scientific theories aim to discover law and principle that apply to human behavior over all society and times. So in this theory that call that the whichever is theory that are the discover and which are the theory applicable in our society, which was applicable overall to the behaviors of society and time to time. So in that sense, we can see that the true knowledge in the domain of science, while novel, general, etc., are opinion and prejudice. And the second one is the true knowledge require that observations, research, and facts are organized as general principle or laws. So here we can see that there are several factors which can be produced the scientific knowledge, scientific theory. So the second one is the philosophical approach. Do not approach problem based on empirical observation and research, but as based in conceptual thinking. So one must first decide what is the important focus in the social life. For example, what social institution, example religion, the economy are the most important. The third one, we can see the third one is the social theory as having a moral vision, views, social knowledge as valuable because it has the potential to make the world a better place. So for the better world to make a better place, there are several theories. We can see the moral vision, views of social knowledge as a work as a valuable. So in that sense, the theories address social problems and issue, trying to create a dialogue in society that can aid debate and social change. Theorists give social account that advocate scientific, social, and political response regarding freedom and democracy. Further, we can see that the Enlightenment and Auguste Comte, the work of Auguste Comte. So we can see that the key feature of the Enlightenment. So science is a key to modern project. It provides valid objective knowledge. Science is based on method of observation which claim objectivity. So we can see that the science work as and play as a objectivity. Science more accurately reflect the world. So the third point claim that the science reflect more accurate, is not ideologically driven and can thus bring reason into it. Humanity and society can become better replacing religious beliefs with scientific knowledge based on the observation and facts. So the fourth point talk about that the how the science replace the religious beliefs and practices which are carry from the last 100 to 100 years. So when we utilize our science, so that can replace our all the fact our prejudice thinking or other things based upon the knowledge and facts. Industrial capitalism was the motor of modernity, entailing shift from rural to urban living as well as from a feudal society to a democratic one. So in that section, we can see that the how the individual capitalism can work as a motor of modernity, how the industrial capitalism create modernity and reflect the other things upon the modernity and as well as upon our society. In the next slide, we can see that the Enlightenment and Auguste Comte work as the Comte is considered the founder of sociology, coining the term sociology in his book, The Course of Positive Philosophy from 1830 to 42, and later System of Positive Polity 1851 to 40 here in 4 number page. So he elaborate three evolutionary stage in the development of the human mind. So they are the theological, metaphysical, and the positive age. So we can see the first one is that he said that the human mind explain the origin of purpose and the social world through reference of religious tradition, revelation, and beliefs such as spirit, divine being, gods. For example, Christian worldview exemplify this stage or any of the great religions. So come to define that this world, we can see that the come to describe all the three stages through the number of years. So we can see that the first stage are from earlier to 1200. So in that era, Durkheim come to explain that how can the religious work or religious activity are more focused and more emphasized upon the society, and beliefs and practices are more important in our society. So the second stage, we can see that the metaphysical thought look at first order principle that are beyond the physical world. So that era called from the 1200 to 1800. So in that era, there are the metaphysical principle that exist in our society. That means there are a king for monarchy and the king who rules us. So that all things are we can see in that stage. And the last stage is scientific knowledge is dominated by sociologists who use science to discover natural and social law. So that called he called that stage is the positivism. So this stage already known as the scientific stage, because the in that stage after the 18th century to till era. So in that stage there are a dominance of science and scientific knowledge, and knowledge and fact. So here we can see that the work of Karl Marx, the revolutionary theory of Karl Marx. So in Marx's German theory, he outlined his materialistic method, which has four premises, in which the first one is that we must begin not with thought, not with self-consciousness or ideas or values, but with the existence of real living individuals. That is the physical organization of individuals and their consequent relationship to the rest of the nature. So, in the second point, he described that the human produce their own means of subsistence. We do not have a fixed nature. We mold and shapes our own nature creatively and inventively. So here, Karl Marx described that the how we create our own means of subsistence and our own means of survival. In the third stage, this mode of production affect everything in society, from the self-consciousness of individuals to the relationship of individual to individual to the relationship of nation to nation. So here Karl Marx defined that how the society produce production effect in our society, how we connect to the each other to people, and that effect to upon our production system. If one wants to understand history, one must understand the division of labor, or who owns and has control over the means and mode of production. So here Karl Marx defined that if we want to understand our history, then we must to understand the division of labor, and how we control over them, and how we control our means of production. So here we can see that in capital, Marx outline the elementary unit of capital, such as the commodity. The commodity, if you talk about the commodity have two parts. The first one is use value, and second one is the exchange value. So use value is the how the what the commodity value, and how we can use that commodity, that called the use value. And second one is the exchange value. Exchange value means if we exchange with that commodity to the other things, then that the amount or the exchange rates, and how what are the fixed value that that of the commodity are through the exchange of that product are equal or not. So in the B section, we can see that the two formula of capital circulation. The first one is the formula of CMC, commodity, money, commodity, and the second one is the MCM, money, commodity, money. So here we can see that the C section, surplus value is defined as value added and is the basis of profit for capitalist and exploitation for the laborer. Further, we can see that the promise of sociology, work of Emil Durkheim. So he in the first step of understanding Durkheim's view sociology is to understand how Durkheim's view society and sociological study. So here we can see that the 2 point for his study, that the sociology is neither philosophy nor psychology. So he defined that the sociology, because of the sociology, he defined that the society is a sociology as a social fact. So it is external and coercive of the individuals. So in that sense, he defined that the sociology is a neither philosophy and nor the psychology. And the second one is the rather sociology is the study of social fact, which are social structure, cultural norms, and values that are external to the social actors. So here we can see the three part of this study of the division of labor in society, in which the first one is the what factors cause the modern division of labor. Second one is the what is the function of the division of labor, and the third one is the what are the abnormal forms of that result from it. Abnormal meaning these forms do not contribute to its successful function. Further, we can see that the factor in the development of modern division of labor, though in this, the first one is the weakening of extended family and the development of the nuclear family. So here, we can see that the how the various factor that the that development in the modern division of labor means that the modern division of labor are fragmented and less very more specialization. So we can see that the here in the modern era, in the modern time, there are more and more specialization in the work of any individuals. Large population growth. Already we are here. Large population growth, urbanization, and people moving away from where they grew up. And the fourth one is improvements in the transportation and communication. And the last one is the increasing value placed on individuals. Further, we can see that the promise of sociology Emil Durkheim's work. We can see that the division of labor, matlab means that the pre-industrial division of labor and post-industrial society division of labor. That means the ancient division of labor and the modern division of labor. So we can see that here the pre-division of labor means that the mechanical solidarity is based on commonality, likeness, and lack of social differentiation in labor. So in the mechanical solidarity, there is the all people are common, and it is based on the commonality, and there is found common amongst all the people. Further, likeness and lack of social differences in labor. And if we see the mechanical solidarity parameter, there are three parameters of the mechanical solidarity, and this one is the first one is the a strong collective consciousness binds people to one another. The second one is that the society is strongest when the collective consciousness is greater than the individual. And the last one is the law is repressive since the collective consciousness cannot tolerate any violation of individuality. So in the mechanical solidarity, there is a repressive law found. The repressive law found there means hand to hand, or in the we can see that the if any person individual commit crime, then all the member of the community are facing the result of that crime. So further here we can see that the post division of labor society. So here we can see that the organic solidarity is based on specialization and interdependence of occupation. So in the organic solidarity, there is the based on the specialization. All the individuals has specialization in their work, all the such things, and they are interdependent of occupation. Means in the modern era, there are more and more dependency are increases. Means because of any independence, the people can't do any work because in when the their earlier people are not done their work. So in that modern era, there are more and more independency increases. So here we can see that the three parameter of the organic solidarity, or we can call that the post division of labor of society. So in which the first one is the a weak collective consciousness due to strong individuality. The second one is in this form we have greater individuality, flexibility, and a productive capacity in labor relations. And the third one is the law is based in resolution since individuals can repay debt through money or time. Further, you can see that in solidarity, then we have abnormal forms which included the first one is the pace of social change can create unsuccessful solidarity. The second one is the social inequality develop when people participate in labor relations, they would not voluntarily choose to but feel compelled or forced out of economic necessity. And the third one is the national markets are so large that they are impersonal and do not promote feeling of attachment among people. So here, Durkheim that explained that how the solidarity work in our society, and how their national markets are also work as a impersonal and do not promote a feeling of attachment among people. So further here we can see that the pre-modern society and modern society, the difference between pre-modern and modern society, in which the first one is the religious fixed morality. In the pre-modern society, there are a dominance of religious activity and there are a fixed morality found. So the second one is the undifferentiated. So people are undifferentiated, and in the modern society, in on the behalf of religious or fixed morality, there is the found secular or fluid morality. Means there are in the modern society, people are more and more secular. So if you talk about the undifferentiated, so in the modern society people are differentiated. That means when the people are undifferentiated means there are no division based upon their caste or their religious activity or their class or such things. But in the modern society, people are differentiated by their occupation, by their class, by their caste, all such things. Functional generality, there are in the modern society functional specificity. That means in the pre-modern society, there are found that the functional generality means all the people of the pre-modern society doing such all same things as a general behavior. But in the modern society, people have specialization, and all the people have unique characteristic with their specialization. Homogeneity of parts and wholes in the pre-modern society, but in the modern society, heterogeneity of parts and whole. That means in the pre-modern society, people are homogeneous nature, but in the modern society, people are heterogeneous. So in the pre-modern society, weak individuality, but in the modern society, there are strong individuality. People are they did not connect or communicate to anyone other else. So in the pre-modern society, cultural homogeneity found, but in the modern society, cultural pluralism are found. In the modern society, repressive sanction affirm society, but in the modern society, restitutive affirm individuals. And in the pre-modern society, there are found mechanical solidarity, but in the modern society, there are found organic solidarity. Further, here we can see the work of Max Weber, the ironic social theory of Max Weber. So, two major theories of Max Weber, two ironic of modernity and capitalism. So, the first one is modernity, which is thought to be secular, has religious origins, and the second one is the capitalism, and impersonal, instrumentally rational logic, has its begin in religious, yeah, Protestant spiritual practices. That is the ethos of Protestant made capitalism possible. So in my earlier class, I already discussed about that the what is the Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism, how the capital spirit of capitalism arose in the Protestant people, and how they value their wealth is health, and money makes money, all that such things for their they make money. So we were asked the following question, that why did capitalism and rationalism both develop first in the West, Europe and North America? In trying to answer this question, we were strict that one must consider not only the role of economic organization, but also the ideas, meaning, and the world image of people heads. What is the spirit of capitalism? Capitalism is spirit that is the drawing on the writing of Benjamin Franklin. Weber illustrated the different part of this spirit of our ethos. Time is money, credit is money, money creates money, time payment are important for instrumental as well as for formal, for moral reasons. So the further we can see that the how do we get from Protestant theology to time is money from two beliefs. Though in which the first belief is the Martin Luther's idea of the calling, and the second one is the John Calvin's notion of predestination. Further work of Max Weber, that the Protestant followers ask themselves if they were one of the elect, and they begin to look for external sign. In this context, two type of pastoral advice appears. in which the first one is it is a hard duty to consider oneself chosen and part of the elect. And the second one is the hard work at a vocational calling build self-confidence in one's elect status. Further, the work of Max Weber, we can see that the iron cage of bureaucracy, the most prominent work of Max Weber, in which the first parameter is the independent individuality gives way to an iron cage of bureaucratic system without which capitalism would not be possible. And the second one is the this instrumentally rational bureaucratic system turn individuals into in standardized cogs in a bureaucratic machinery. And the last one is the so the irony is that although capitalism and bureaucracy would not have been possible without the strong inner directed Protestant personality, once they are institutionalized, they no longer need this foundation. Further, if you talk about in the sociological theory or the theory of social, so we can see the prominent work of the grand theory of Talcott Parsons and Peter Berger and Thomas Lacman. So Parsons, the social system, or in 1951, focuses on patterns of interaction or what he calls the social system. So there are three distinct systems in society. The first one is the personality system based in individual needs. The second one is the cultural system based in shared beliefs. And the last one is the social system based in the multiple social role and norms. So here we in social system and the evolution of action theory in 1971, he developed a more functional approach. Further, we can see that the social system now have four functions: adaptation, goal attainment, integration, and pattern maintenance. In short, we can call that the Agile paradigm. So for the system composed society, the first one is the economic specialization in material conditions that call adaptation, the political organization social resources that call goal attainment. The third one is the legal system maintains social regulation and solidarity that call integration. And finally, the family, religious, and education aims to produce the appropriate needs, value, motive, skill, and individual's needs that call pattern maintenance. Further, in the social construction of reality, a treatise in the sociology of knowledge, 1967, Berger and Lacman theory focus on everyday life as a social accomplish based on the reaction of interaction of individuals. So here we can see the three processes constructed social reality, in which the first one is externalization, is the physical and mental outpouring of human activity into the external world. The second one is the objectivation, is the process by which the world takes on a factual existence for individuals. The third one is the internalization, is the process by which the external world is made part of human subjective consciousness. Further, the scientific theory of Randall Collins and Peter Blow. So we can see in conflict sociology toward an explanatory science, 1975, Randall Collins argued that individuals are motive to struggle in meeting their needs. He want individuals use whatever material, example wealth or strength, and cultural, example education and verbal skills, to secure their goals. Further, individuals will be conflict due to the unequal distribution of the resources such as wealth, education, prestige, etc. And institutional and cultural structure reflect this. Further, we can see the scientific theory of Randall Collins and Peter Blow. So Collins, following Weber's say social stratification, occurs in three dimensions. The first one is the economic or occupational conflict. Second one is the cultural or status group conflict. And the third one is the political or political party conflicts. In Peter Blow's Inequality and Heterogeneity, a primitive theory of social structure, he developed a theory of social structure that links social association and social integration. Further, we can see that the social structure is defined as the distribution of people among social position or parameters. So further we can see the work of the Randall Collins and Peter Blow. So there are two type of parameters in the US used to distinguish people from one another. So the first one is a nominal parameter, divided people into subgroup with distinct boundary. Example, gender, religious, and age. So in the parameter, so how can we divide people into various subgroup, such as how we can parameter through the gender, through the religion, and through the age. And the second one is the graduate parameter, distinguish people according to rank. Example, income. So there are two parameter, as I told about the nominal parameter and graduate parameter. Through the nominal parameter, so gender, religion, and age are factor to be considered. And through the graduate parameter, so that factor are the only income factor are need to be considered. So in the nominal parameter, mark out of horizontal differentiation heterogeneity among social group, while graduate parameters designate differentiation inequality in social status. So below nominal parameter and the graduate parameter, both are the parameter for how we can distinguish people from one to another. So through the gender, religion, and age, and through the income. So nominal parameter mark out horizontal differentiation heterogeneity among social group, while graduate parameters designed difference inequality in social roles. So below thesis is that heterogeneity and equality determine the rate and type of social association, and whether society is divided or integrated accordingly. So Blau defined that how that the heterogeneity or inequality determine the rate of social association, and further we talk about the whether society is divided into or integrated accordingly. Further, we can see that the moral work of sociology, C. Wright Mills and Robert Bella. So, in the work of C. Wright Mills, the power elite, C. Wright Mills argue that the elite were mostly men in three institutions. The first one is the corporate businesses, second one is the political party, and the third one is the military sector. So, in the corporate, executive, military leaders, and political shares and interlocking interest in decision making due to their position as top level decision makers in each respective institutional sphere. So the further is their personal tie bind them together as well. They are simultaneously separating them from the public masses. Further, while the power elite are loosely linked network bound by personal and structural tie, they are interested in maintaining inequalities of wealth, prestige, and power in order to maintain their dominance. It is their professed desire to run society in the interest of the larger public while remaining largely unaccountable that was at the center of Mill's critique. So further, we can see the blue and white collar worker are blinded by consumerism and personal affairs, and thus election become thin forms of a democratic ritual that ratifies elite rule. Further, in habit of the heart, individualism and commitment in American life in 1985, Bella it all right about the four traditions that are centered to individual and American society. The biblical tradition is based in Protestant and Christian heritage and focuses on self-realization as tie to an ethical and spiritual life, and the Puritan John Winthrop exemplified this. The Republican tradition is rooted in democratic organizations and a constitutional framework like Thomas Jefferson embody this idea. So lastly, we can see that the work of C. Wright Mills and Robert Bella, that the utilitarian individualism stands as a counterpart to the biblical and republican tradition, which emphasize society. This tradition emphasizes how individuals focus on their own need for wealth protection, etc. Ben Franklin embodies this. Further, in the last section, we can see that the expressive individualism is also a self-centered, individualistic worldviews and focuses on human potential as one purpose in life. The poet Walt Whitman exemplifies this. So here I can stop my lecture.